It is an honor to be here among you realtors who have understood exactly what I've been going through for several years with the tax lightning issue. You as well as I have been going through it together, seeing all the inequities throughout the Bernalillo County that people are having to deal with and people have dealt with. So I know all of you probably want to hear about the tax lightning. I'm going to talk about a few things that I've done in the office that have actually helped our employees to become better educated wise and better appraisers, just all in all. We've implemented and upgraded our computer systems to allow for the integration of our GIS system with our CAMA system, which our CAMA system is our computer-assisted mass appraisal system. So now we have actually our GIS that is integrated with that, which allows us to look at maps and data overlaid. We can actually see the homes on the parcel. A lot of great things. And it's created a lot of transparency within our office. I've worked on several issues during my tenure, and one is value freeze for seniors that are over 65 with an income of $32,000 or less. I've worked on the disclosure law with Mary Martinek, the Association of Realtors. We got together and I chaired a task force, and I was on a task force with Mary Martinek with the Realtors Association, and we came up with legislation to allow for the disclosure of that, that your property taxes would increase drastically the following year. And there was several reasons that was a good thing. One, realtors were getting hurt by it because they were getting sued. You know, I was getting hurt by it because people were coming into my office saying, I can't afford my mortgage payment anymore because I didn't know this was going to happen to me. So I felt it was a great issue to take up and address. We did get that passed. And then we have now on the books, and in my opinion, we all knew this was coming, where it would be ruled as unconstitutional. So in August and September of 2009, the court ruled that it was unconstitutional. I decided to follow suit with that ruling, following consistency with the court ruling. There was people at the other side saying I shouldn't do this. You know, some attorneys were saying I should, some were saying I shouldn't, but what I did do was I felt that I not only had to do it, but had an obligation to, because of the court rulings, follow in consistency with the court rulings. It was the last legal act as far as this law was concerned. So what I did was I had 300 protests before me that I corrected at that time, and then followed suit in correcting the valuations for the new notices of value. Thank you. So basically, that's about all I have to tell you. Does anyone have any questions?
The question that everybody's trying to get to is, how do we advise our clients from here on out? I mean, is this a 1-year thing, or next year you're going to continue to roll them back? Because our disclosure, we're supposed to put the listing price in, and that's how we're supposed to disclose it. Do we continue to do that in Bernalillo County, or was this just a 1-year thing?
What I will do is, until the courts tell me different or the legislature addresses the issue, I will be doing what I'm doing right now. The legislature chose not to address the issue last year. I'm hoping that this year they will be more successful in doing. They did have 14 bills that were introduced, and 2 of them got through Senate and halfway through the House and died in taxation or revenue. So that's where we're at as far as the legislature is concerned. Now the district court rulings have been pushed up by the district court to the appellate court. And from what I've been told is by the time it gets through the Supreme Court, it'll be about 2 years.
Lightning, what we're having to do is the price it's listed for one thing, not the sale price. But if we do that, we are seeing at least a third higher taxes than the seller was paying. And it's very confusing. Yes, that's
I understand.
Because you're saying it's going back to what they were paying, adding on the 3%.
Yeah, why is it?
The question is it's kind of confusing because you guys have been taught always to use the sale price for the estimate, or list price for the estimate, and not the actual notice of value reflecting the 3% increase instead of the current and correct increase. So the law states that you have to use the list price, and yet I am valuing at a 3% increase. So there's a difference there, and I understand. A correct good faith estimate, though, is to use the notice of value, and that will be reflective of the tax bill for this year.
What about properties that have, especially the larger properties that have sold for a certain amount and values have decreased, and they've been assessed at a higher value, and they are now selling for a much less price? Are they going to be reduced tax value-wise?
Let me tell you, in 2009, there was actually an article in the newspaper front page. 15,000 homes went down in value, in assessed value. The reason that was is the people who had been hit by tax lightning in the prior 2 years were up at pretty much full current and correct market value. So when they saw the decrease in the market, they actually saw a decrease in their assessment because of where they were. The people that were sitting at 50% of market, when the market adjusted 20%, it still did not meet. My requirement is either current and correct market value or a limited value of 3% per year until you get to that current and correct market value.
Can you give us some guidelines if our clients or ourselves are protesting? What kind of data do you need? I've actually done a protest and it's very frustrating. So are there some clear guidelines? What do we give? What do you need? And how do we get it done then?
We do have an instruction sheet online with the actual protests that you can download. There is an instruction sheet that tells you exactly what is required for the protest to be generated. And basically it's your contact information and the value that you think your property is worth.
But then what do we need to give you for comparisons? Because I was getting different answers.
But basically what it is we have 3 approaches to value. For residential property, we have cost and sales comparison approach that we use. The third approach to value is the income approach, which is used in the commercial area. So basically when you come in and file a protest, we need something that would determine and show that our value is incorrect. Basically, sales in the area would be a good indicator.
And I guess I want to make a point too, is that sitting here today, you made the comment about the law. And so you are governed by laws and regulations, and you cannot arbitrarily do any of this stuff that's embedded in some people's mind, because you are governed by laws like we're governed by laws and regulations. And so thank you for being here and answering all those questions.
Thank you.